ASMR. It's been a little bit, but we're back, and work schedule was just got very chaotic there. I was putting in a lot of hours for a long time, but we're back at it, and today I wanted to bring you guys something a little bit special, something kind of more personal to me, and that is giving you a little bit of Norwegian basics. Now, I do want to preface this by saying I am not actually Norwegian. Um, I mean, I have Norwegian DNA and bloodline run through me, but I am an American. I live in the United States, and I've never been to Norway, although I would very much love to go very soon, hopefully. But I've been learning Norwegian, not Norway. I've been learning about Norway, but I've been learning Norwegian, the language, and I think it's a very fantastic and interesting language that I've been very happy to explore, and it's a lot of fun, to be honest. So, I know Norwegians are very proud of themselves and their heritage, their culture, their language. So, hopefully, this makes at least some of you guys happy. If nothing else, hopefully, it makes you guys happy. Um, I do want to say I am a beginner of all beginners with Norwegian as well. So feel free to critique me in the comments and all that. Just go a little bit easy on me. But I've got just some basics here that I was going to go over to help teach you guys some Norwegian. But I think they have a fantastic language when it comes to ASMR. I feel like a lot of this stuff really hits with ASMR. So hopefully you guys like it just as much as I do. So to start off, the very, very basics, yes and no, which in Norwegian is ja for yes, and then nei for no. Ja, 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 nei, nei, nei. I say that a lot to my very small infant children right now. Nei, nei, nei. And then there's also I, which is yai, you, which is do, do, and then we is pronounced v, v. Um, and then there's some other basics like hello and goodbye. So if you want to say hello, there's a couple different ways you could say hello. One is hello, which is kind of traditional throughout a lot of European countries, like in that region. But you could also just say hi. Um, I think depending on where you're from and how formal or informal you want to be, you're probably gonna pick one versus the other. But from my experience learning, which is mostly Duolingo, if I'm being honest, hello and hi are pretty interchangeable. To say goodbye, it is hade, hade, hade. If you want to say good morning, it would be god morgen, god morgen. It took me a good minute to realize that the D, when you say good, so gu, is silent, even though it's pronounced, or it's spelled G-O-D. If you want to say good evening, you're going to say god kveld, god kveld. And I don't know what it is, but there's just something about that K and V combo together. I love words like that. Kveld, kveld, kveld. It's also the same with, if you're going to say woman, it's kvinnen, or kvina. If you're going to say the woman, it's kvinnen. I love it. I love those words. If you want to say good night, that would be godnatt. Godnatt. I do want to point out too, I think when I said good evening, I was saying good kveld. I was kind of hitting that D at the end too. Good, Gugveld. Um, the D is kind of silent, so I've noticed depending on who's speaking, they'll pronounce it a little bit, versus a lot of people will just not pronounce it. So instead of saying Gugveld, it should be Gugveld, Gugveld, Gugveld. It's weird when you roll that L off the tongue, like it naturally just wants to hit that D sound. So, that's just something I've noticed. So, a very polite phrase, when you want to say thanks or thank you very much, which I think everybody should learn in every language, is tak. So if you just want to say thanks, it's tak, tak. If you want to say thank you very much, or in the literal breakdown of the phrase, it's thank you 1,000, is tusen tak, tusen tak. I think this is a very good, strong phrase for ASMR. Tusen tak, tusen tak. With the thanks and thank you very much, you also want to learn how to say please, right? So, varsje snäll, varsje snäll. You can also say you're welcome, which is varsje, varsje, varsjego. Clearly, I am not a master of the language yet. Varsjego, varsjego. With English, though, English is a very hard language, and it's very different from a lot of languages. I definitely tend to bleed a lot of my English over into this, but it's part of learning it, right? Some animals, I know this is some of the easier stuff to go over. So if you were wanting to learn some good animals here, you have your traditional cat, which is cat, cat, cat. You have dog, which is hund, hund. With dog, it again ends with a D, but it's kind of like a silent D. Hund, hund. Moose, moose, mouse. One of my personal favorite animals are wolves. So to say wolf, it's wolf, wolf, wolf. And one of my son's favorite is goat, and that is yite, yite, yite. The G in that is silent, honestly. So it's strange. That one took me a little bit of getting used to. One of the cooler ones I found though is snake, and the word for snake is slanga, 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 slanga. And then there's crab, which is crabba, crabba. And I'm probably not 100% on these pronunciations, but there's also cow, which is coo, coo. And then fish, fisk, fisk, fisk. Very, very fun ones. And then, like I said before, one of my favorite words to say for ASMR purposes is kvina, which is woman. And then you also have man, man. So, that's like the root word. So, kvina, man, man. I think it's actually man. Kvina, man. But if you were gonna do like a man, it'd be en man or en kvina. If you were gonna do the man, it would be mannen, mannen. If you're gonna do the woman, it would be kvinnen, kvinnen. So a little bit of a difference in kind of how the words and sentences, phrases, all that break down, which I thought was really cool. Some simple words and phrases that you will need to know if you ever want to learn Norwegian or go visit Norway. You want to learn how to introduce yourself. So one of those basic ways of doing that is to say, hello, my name is Ren, or whatever your name is. So in this case, you're going to say, hello, jeg heter Ren, which means my name is Ren. Hello, jeg heter Ren. Another way of saying this, which I'm not sure which one's the more formal versus informal, but you could say, Hi, mitt navn er Ren. Hi, mitt navn er Ren. If you want to ask somebody what their name is, you just simply say, Hva heter du? Hva heter du? That is, what is your name? If you're going to ask somebody how they are, which again is very traditional, everybody does it, that would be Hvordan har du det? Hvordan har du det? How are you? And usually the response is something like, oh, I'm good, whatever. In this case, if you're going to say, I'm fine, thank you, which is a standard response to it, it's, Takk, jeg har det bra. Takk, jeg har det bra. And again, that means, I'm fine, thank you. A phrase that I have to learn for pretty much any language I attempt to learn is, do you speak English? That's so like foreign countries 101. If you go to a foreign country, you really want to know how to say, can you speak English or do you speak English in that language? So it's the easiest way to get to anybody and get an answer. So for Norwegian, it's snakker du engelsk? Snakker du engelsk? And that simply just means, do you speak English? Another phrase that you might want to learn if you're going to go to Norway or if you're just speaking to some Norwegians is Jeg snakker bare litt norsk. Jeg snakker bare litt norsk, which means I only speak a little Norwegian. Very good phrase to learn if you are in the beginning stages like I am. Jeg snakker bare litt norsk. In Norwegian, to say Norwegian in Norwegian is norsk. So, just a little fun thing there. There's a lot more that I want to go over, but I am certainly not a master of Norwegian yet. That's pretty much the basics I know as of right now that I feel like are worth putting out there. I will likely do, depending on if you guys want it or not, I will likely do another video where I do some more phrases, maybe a little bit more in Norwegian, maybe do some counting, stuff like that. So if that is something you are interested in, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below. But that is all I have for the time being. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit of Norwegian with me today. And I hope you guys liked the